internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world.
XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's get right into today's video. I want you guys to turn off every single light that's lit up around you. If you guys are in a public space, in a restaurant, or in a mall, turn it all off. We want darkness, because the only light bulb that's going to go off is going to be in your head after we finish the puzzle. It's done. In today's video, we're going to go over Visa, Ripple, stablecoins, and how they have been planning this for a very long time, and how Visa has been working stealthily with Ripple for a very, very long time. This is done. It's in the bag. And if you don't see this, I mean, the only thing we could do is... Because truly, after I present to you everything here, it's happening, and we're just going to have to wait for the major announcement. That's probably going to happen very soon. But first, I want to clear the air with this whole Nellie Lang. And remember how she made this statement?
Stablecoins are usually based only to trade crypto, not yet used for payments, although there is a non-bank payment provider that is now issuing a stablecoin to try to use for merchants. There is a non-bank payment provider that is now issuing a stablecoin to try to use for merchants.
A non-bank payment provider coming out with their stablecoin. Some people are saying it's about PayPal stablecoin, and you're absolutely wrong. This event took place 5 days ago. Ripple stablecoin came out April 4th, which is 2 weeks ago. So that's recently, okay? It's not PayPal, which is 6 months ago when they came out with their stablecoin, and there was pretty much, you can't even compare PayPal stablecoin to what Ripple is about to do right now. And this is going to be a big sector, and Visa knows it, and this is why Visa has been buying up Ripple partners since day one. If you guys look at this metric that Visa put out, this is significant. Take a look at the last 30 days in transaction volumes, totaling up to $2.6 trillion, and we don't even have real world use case kicking in yet. Number of transactions, 365 million. Remember that little diagram I showed you with a lot of transactions happening, and we said there was about 20 on the screen? Again, this is with nobody even utilizing blockchain at a real world use case. Again, I cannot stress that enough. And take a look at USDC's volume. It's at 55 billion. And then we have USDT comes in with the 140 billion. But this market is going to explode. And Visa knows that. And Visa knows Ripple is going to have a major role in this. Take a look at this. Currency Cloud, you guys already know. We're going to skim over this very quick. July 2nd, 2020. Currency Cloud announced a partnership with Ripple. A year later, December 20th, 2021, Visa completes acquiring Currency Cloud. Okay, this is not a coincidence because they do it more than once. And back in 2015, Earthport and Ripple came into a partnership where they integrated blockchain to their banks. And it gets even better because MasterCard and Visa had a bidding war for Earthport that lasted over a couple months. And the winner came out to be Visa. Visa acquired Earthport for $250 million. And you guys know that Ripple and MasterCard are now working together. That has been publicly stated. Do you see where we're all going with this? Here's a bombshell. Ready? Visa joins AWS partner network to help simplify global digital payments. This was done yesterday. They announced this. And Ripple has been a long-time partner for the AWS. Like, do you see how they're accelerating this? It's happening. It's here. And even on Visa's website, we have Noom plus Visa building the open money network. These are fintech case studies that they're doing with Ripple partners because we have Air Wallets as well. We know Ripple is a big partner with Noom, okay, for a very long time. And we also that AirWallex is also a Ripple partner. They're like, at the end of the day, it all comes back down to this. And now, to put the icing on the cake, we clarified that Nellie Liang was not talking about PayPal stablecoin. And I'm 100% sure we could all agree to that, and she was not. And now we're going to listen to Eric Van Miltenberg. This video, watching it now, which is just a couple months old, very new, with BIS, Visa, and Ripple all together on the same panel. And just listen, I took out the more important parts for you guys to listen to. And Eric's been at Ripple for a very long time, almost 8 years. So listen to him very carefully here. They're using Ripple. They're testing Ripple. It's happening right now behind the scenes. They're not going to tell you. Look at the Visa individual. I forgot his name off the top of my head. But look at him not when Eric starts talking in some of the parts. When Eric talks about licensing and all the good stuff that we cover on this channel. It's like, this is crazy. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. So just take in all the information that we just put together with Visa and how they're, look at this, they have a metric dashboard for stablecoins. Ripple coming out with their stablecoin. Nellie Liang 100% was talking about Ripple stablecoin, and how Visa acquiring Ripple partners, Ripple companies that utilize Ripple to this date, and that is 100% fact. And now we have, this cannot, I can't give you guys any more of this. This is the last piece to the Visa puzzle. This is it. This is why BIS, Ripple, and Visa were all sitting together.
At the end of the day, obviously, a good product, good service that solves a real world problem, provides real utility. It's not just about speculation and get rich quick and pumping up the price of crypto. All these things will line up. I think they're starting to line up. I see the companies are really stepping up.
Things that might go wrong. Because I don't want anybody watching at home or in the room to be like, wow, the BIS, Visa, and they think that the world's just awesome and Ripple's going to solve it. But obviously, this is a hard problem. I think the technology has ripened to a point where people are no longer terrified by something just because it's new. You might disagree. They're more terrified than they should be, but they should be more courageous.
There's self-inflicted wounds as an industry, right, that have happened and have caused people to be scared. And so I think we're going to need to see more good actors that are acting, responsibly, that think about compliance first and foremost versus, it's some bother that I have to deal with. We need governments to step up and provide regulatory clarity. I think we see some great examples of that around the world, in Singapore, in the UAE, in the UK, not so much in the US. And so, if you have clear rules, you have people who follow the rules, and then companies can innovate and invest with confidence that there's going to be an ROI, and they're not going to get rug pulled because some government who hasn't chosen to sort of be explicit about what you can and can't do is going to surprise them. So it's a combination of things, in my opinion. And at the end of the day, obviously, a good product, good service that solves a real world problem, provides real utility. It's not just about speculation and get rich quick and pumping up the price of crypto. All these things will line up. I think they're starting to line up. I see the companies are really stepping up. Certain jurisdictions, certain governments are stepping up. So I think a lot of reasons to be optimistic.
The kind of defining factor of networks is that the more things are connected, the more value there is to the network. So when we think about kind of transitioning one network to another network, there's going to be some type of critical mass and some kind of tipping point and threshold at which there is more value in the new network over the old network. And I think that's kind of what we're all kind of circling around, is in different business contexts. I think we understand that there's desirability. The G20 was mentioned. That's a huge motivation and desirability for these type of payments to improve. I think it was mentioned that the technical feasibility of most of these things has been proven, both in the public and the private space. And now it's all about the kind of business viability. So as more and more businesses become viable in this space, I think that'll pull in more actors, it'll pull in more value. And when these new type of networks start to hit that threshold, I think we're going to hit that tipping point, and then things will just kind of happen somewhat naturally from there. So I'm definitely optimistic.
And even though I'm the one that has been cheerleading this process, I think that we should speak up for the things that might go wrong. Because I don't want anybody watching at home or in the room to be like, wow, the BIS Visa, and they think that the world's just awesome and Ripple's going to solve it. But obviously, this is a hard problem. Otherwise, it would have been solved a long time ago. And one of the big issues that comes up is like the compliance cost.
Ripple for the past probably 7 or 8 years has really been working with mostly financial institutions, always with businesses, so we're a B2B company, to provide technology that allows for a more efficient movement of money cross-border. But over time, as our customer base got more comfortable with the technology and saw the opportunity and saw that we were able to abstract the complexity away and really just deliver the benefit they were seeking, we then sort of went to this next step, which was addressing liquidity by leveraging a digital asset. In our case, we use one called XRP as a bridge currency. But to this next step, which was addressing liquidity by leveraging a digital asset. In our case, we use one called XRP as a bridge currency. But to this next step, which was addressing liquidity by leveraging a digital asset. In our case, we use one called XRP as a bridge currency between really a fiat transaction. So from the end user's perspective, they didn't really understand or need to understand that crypto was involved. All they saw was faster, it was cheaper, it was more reliable, it was available 24/7. So all big improvements on what was happening before. So we're licensed now in many states in the US. We have a BIT license in New York. We've applied for licenses throughout the world. We have our major payments institution license recently granted by the MAS in Singapore. So over time, we really want to be that go-to place where you can move money quickly whenever you want, however you want, and then start to layer on these other building blocks, if you will. So custody, I heard was mentioned in the prior panel, super important. We made an acquisition there last year. A Swiss company actually named Medico is now part of the Ripple family. And you can imagine tokenization is on the list, et cetera, et cetera. So, and you can imagine tokenization is on the list, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.